Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to rank the worst crochet projects in all of human history. I did not come up with these ideas, but I stumbled upon them while scrolling through a Reddit thread from about 2 years ago, and it had me laughing and gasping in horror all at the same time. I'll leave a link to the original thread down in the description box if you want to read all of the different ideas, but I have chosen 15 of my favorites because let's just say I found them the most interesting. I'm going to rate each one of these projects based on whether or not I think they deserve to be on the worst crochet projects in all of human history or not. And I would love to know what your thoughts are if you think these projects should be on that list or not. Oh, hi, Pickle. Hi, buddy. Say hi. You say hi? So let's start with the first project, and it's one that I remember from my childhood. I thought that this trend had died back in the 1970s, but apparently I was wrong. After doing a quick Google search, I found that crocheted toilet accessories are alive and well. These include toilet lid covers, toilet seat covers, and toilet tank covers. Some of these are intricate lace patterns and others are Christmas, Easter, or Halloween themed. You can even personalize your toilet with crocheted flowers or even a cute little owl. Many of these projects look super well made, but if I'm gonna be honest, I just personally don't want my crochet anywhere near a toilet. For that reason, I do think that these projects belong on the worst crochet projects list. I hope I didn't hurt anybody's feelings. For this next project, I'm not sharing any photos, so you're gonna have to use your imagination, but it is crocheted underwear. I cannot imagine that these would be comfortable, breathable, or supportive in any way. But what is interesting is that I have this book of knitted patterns. This was published in 1940, and there is an entire section of crocheted underwear. And one of my favorites is titled Vest and Panties for the Older Woman. This doesn't look comfortable at all, but I guess it would keep you warm, especially because it was made with 100% wool. Oh my goodness. I have never been more thankful for synthetic, breathable, stretchy fibers in my life. So I'm sorry, these are going on my list of worst crochet projects ever. This next project is one that I had never heard of before, and it's crocheted barefoot sandals. And the best way to describe these is that it is a soulless sandal, not soulless, but soulless, meaning it doesn't have a sole or the bottom of the shoe. And I don't think that I would ever crochet these for me or any of my family members, but I do think that they are very pretty and I could see a teenage girl loving them, or if you're going to a music festival or the beach, they could be really pretty. And so for that reason, I honestly don't think these should be on the worst crochet projects ever list. Now, this next project is one that I totally remember from my childhood. If you are a person of a certain age, do you remember the crocheted toilet paper cover dolls? And I'm gonna be honest, I loved them back then, and I still love them now. There were different varieties, but my favorite were the ones that looked like a Barbie doll with the huge ball gown. I just thought that they were so beautiful. But while doing my research for this video, I did come across a set that were absolutely terrifying, and they were baby faces maybe that are coming out of the side of the toilet paper roll cover. And I thought, oh my goodness, can you only imagine waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and seeing those faces staring at you? But I'm gonna be super honest here. I have always loved things that are vintagey and a little weird. Even from the time I was a child, I loved dolls that were kind of creepy but cute at the same time. I've always loved Tim Burton movies and anything that's a little bit dark and kind of weird but cute. I love that combination, and so for that reason, I don't think that these should be on the worst crochet projects list. I say we bring the crochet toilet paper dolls back and horrify all of our family members. This next project was mentioned several times in that original Reddit thread, and it's the cat butt coasters. And if you haven't seen these floating around on Pinterest or on your social media, let me set the scene. These are coasters that show the backside of a cat with his tail sticking straight up in the air. Now, you may know that I have 2 kitty cats that I love with all of my heart, but I really don't need to see that part of their body in crocheted form. But I will admit these coasters are pretty cute, and I love that the people that designed them and make them have an amazing sense of humor. And although I don't think I would ever crochet these for myself, I don't think that they deserve to be on the list of worst crochet projects ever. This next project is more of a current trend, but I've seen it a time or two, and it is crocheted amigurumi toys that have realistic butt cheeks, little booties. But I think that a lot of these are pretty darn cute, and one of my favorites is the crocheted apple designed by Tiny Curl. I just think this one is so cute. Another one that I found that is super adorable is the Cheeky Shroom by Miguel Crochets. I think this one is absolutely adorable, and I'll leave links to both of those patterns in the description box below if you just want to make one for yourself. So I think these are delightful, and I do not believe that these belong on the worst crocheted projects list. Our next project involves crocheting with something for the car, and that's a crocheted steering wheel cover. At first, when I was looking through the photos of this project, I thought, oh my gosh, these are so cute, I want to make one. But then this image of a crocheted steering wheel popped into my mind, and I imagined driving around with my hands on it, and I can feel it slipping on my steering wheel. And all of that cuteness, all of that desire to make one went out the window because I actually think that this could be kind of dangerous. And I don't think that's a good thing. Yeah, they're cute. They're very pretty, but I think it would be better to crochet some seat covers. That would be a really nice little project. You don't need anything between your hands and that steering wheel, just for safety purposes. And so for that reason, I do think that this project, even though it's really pretty, it does deserve to be on the worst crochet projects list. The next project is crocheted food. Now, we're not talking about cute little crocheted food like this little teacup that has that pretty little smile, or these little pancakes with that face. These are absolutely adorable, but I'm talking about realistic looking crocheted food. I didn't know that these were a thing. I didn't know that there are tons of projects with very realistic looking food, but the more that I've looked at them, I am absolutely blown away. They are amazing. These would be so amazing for a child's play kitchen. And for me, I look at these designs and think, how did somebody come up with this? I think that my imagination and the ideas that I come up with are pretty humdrum. They're not super interesting like this, and I would just love to get into the mind of someone who crochets these very realistic looking food items and just live in there just for a little while. And so for that reason, I don't think that these should be on the list of the worst crochet projects ever. This next project is one that I thought was going to be really strange when I first read about it, but once I found the article about these creations, my mind was completely blown. Lisa Haitanen from Finland has crocheted life-size dolls of her family, friends, and pets. I don't even think doll is the correct term. These are actual replicas of her family and friends, and they are so realistic looking. I've never seen anything like it. I am in awe, and I cannot even imagine how much time and effort this went into. And these aren't just crocheted with stuffing inside. They have a metal sculpture underneath, and then she crochets the outside part. But even still, that is absolutely incredible, and I love these photos of the crocheted version next to the real life person or animal, and wow. In the description box, I'll leave a link to one of the articles that I found about her and her work. It really is one of the most unique crocheted things I've ever seen. So I do not think that these should be on the list of the worst crochet projects ever. So this next project is one that I thought was pretty awful when I first read about it, but then after thinking about it for a little while, I realized, no, this is pretty great. This project is a crocheted umbrella, and of course, this would not work for rain, but it would be really nice for shade. And some of these projects are absolutely incredible. They are so intricate and colorful, and they're just magnificent. And one of my favorites is this cherry blossom crochet parasol pattern by Kairos Crochet. I'll leave a link for the pattern in the description box, but oh my goodness, how beautiful is that project? And so for that reason, I do not think that these crocheted umbrellas or parasols should be on the list of worst crochet projects ever. I wouldn't use them for rain, but I would use them for shade. So this next project is, it's interesting. Have you seen these amigurumi toys that have baby animals inside of them? And there are openings, usually in the back of the animal, where the baby animals can get out, or should I say give birth. And while I do think that these are a little on the weird side, I do still think they are an amazing opportunity to educate children. One Etsy shop I found is Lau Loves Crochet, and she has lots of different patterns for animals with baby animals inside, and she even has a human one with a baby inside. And I think that this is a fantastic opportunity, especially if you have a child in your life who is getting ready to be a big brother or a sister, or if you just have a child who's really curious about where do the babies come out? How do they get out? What's inside that mommy's tummy and making her tummy look so big? I think that these would be fantastic for that. It helps children to have those concrete things and say, this is exactly how this happens. Now, I do get why some people might feel a little uncomfortable with this, but if you really think about the intended purpose, it really is a great idea. And for that reason, I think that these do not deserve to be on the list of worst crochet projects ever. This next project is one that I have never heard of before in my life, and it's a crocheted nose warmer. Now, I live in North Carolina, and the only other U.S. states that I've lived in are Texas, Florida, and Tennessee, and you wouldn't need a nose warmer in any of those places. It does get a little bit chilly here in the wintertime, but normally I just lift up my scarf or my cowl and just put it above my face if I'm outside and I'm getting a little bit chilly, but otherwise, here where I live, you wouldn't need one of these. So for that reason, I feel like I am not the right person to rate whether or not this is a terrible crochet project or not. So I would love to hear from those of you who are Midwesterners, or you live up in Canada, or you live up in the Northeast somewhere in the US. Let me know in the comment section if you think that this is a great crochet project, or are you as puzzled as I am. Another project that was mentioned in the Reddit thread was a crocheted toaster cover. At first glance, I thought these were so adorable. I found one that was a camper van. That one is absolutely adorable. And then I found a kitchen set that is all different crocheted items for your kitchen, and it included a toaster cover. But then I started thinking about the safety concerns, and I am such a forgetful person that I am afraid that I would literally burn my entire house down with something like this. And I love that granny go-round kitchen set, and I would make all of those other items, but for me and my forgetful brain, I am skipping that crocheted toaster cover because I could not be trusted with it. And so for that reason, I am putting this project in the worst crocheted project list. I feel kind of bad about it because I do think they're really cute, but for me, it's a big no. This next project had me scratching my head a little bit because I could not wrap my head around how these worked. These are the crocheted water balloons, and once I learned how you use them, I was like, these are absolutely amazing, and I'm surprised that they were on that Reddit thread. Instead of filling these up with water like you would do a traditional water balloon, you just soak them in water, and they act more like a sponge than a water balloon. And then you just throw them at each other just like you would do with a water balloon fight. Many of the makers of these crocheted water balloons use Bernat blanket yarn, and they say that it works fantastic. And I think that these are wonderful for so many different reasons, and one of them is that they're reusable. They're not going to break out in your yard and you have to go around and pick up all the little water balloon pieces, and you could make these in all different colors, and you could use them over and over every year. And for that reason, I don't think these should go on the list of the worst crochet projects projects ever. Another project I saw mentioned was crocheted fingerless gloves, and many people mentioned that they are completely useless, and I could not disagree more. I haven't crocheted any fingerless mitts, but I have knit a pair, and these are the pinwheel mitts, and I got them from a yarn shop in London called Loop London, and they are absolutely beautiful, and that's one of my favorite yarn shops that I've ever been to. And make sure to follow them on Instagram. They have some of the most beautiful crocheted and knitted projects that I have ever seen in my life. It's extraordinary. But number one, these fit me like a glove, haha. You can make them to fit your hands perfectly, and like I said, I do live in North Carolina where we don't get bitterly cold temperatures, so if I'm out and I'm walking and I want to keep my hands warm, but I want to be able to use my fingers like for my phone, or if I'm taking my kitty cats out for a walk and I need to adjust them or take their harness off or something like that, if I'm using a buckle or I need to tie my shoelaces, I just could not disagree with this idea more that fingerless mitts are useless. I think they are very useful. And so for that reason, these are not going on my list of worst crochet projects ever. I hope you found this video entertaining and lighthearted and just a little bit of fun today, but make sure to leave in the comment section which crocheted project you think should have been on this list but wasn't, or let me know which one of these projects you think was the worst and which one do you think shouldn't have been on here at all. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Stay safe and happy stitching.